And we are back. Welcome back to Beyond Today. We're talking today about where have the fathers gone. When you request the piece of literature on the missing dimension in the family, you're also going to receive a free copy, a free subscription to the Good News magazine. This is our flagship publication on Beyond Today. This latest issue happens to have a cover story entitled, Where Have All the Fathers Gone?, written by one of our guests on the program today, Mr. Mario Segli. And he goes into a great deal more detail on the subject of effective fathering in these articles, along with some interviews with other experts on the subject. It's an issue you'll not want to miss. There are many other articles on Christian living, doctrine, and Bible teaching and instruction you'll find regularly in the Good News magazine. It is a very important publication to you. Mario, you have raised 4 daughters. One of your biggest qualifications to be on our program here today. What have they taught you about child rearing?
They have taught me, first of all, the awesome responsibility I have for their ultimate future, because I realized how much influence. It's not only genetic, but also the atmosphere they would grow up in, the stimulation, the encouragement. So that is what they taught me, that I could not be a passive father. I had to be an active father. I had to be there for them and in a long-term relationship with them, that they are not going to leave this relationship when they become adults, but that I will always be a father to them, and that I will be actively involved to see that they succeed in their families, in their careers, until it's my turn to finish being on this earth.
I had a very wise man tell me one time that you never stop raising your children. That's exactly what you've said in other words. Gary, you've raised 2 daughters. What have they taught you about child rearing?
Well, our daughters have taught me the need for a father to be with their children. Our daughters love to be with us. They love to spend time with us. They wanted us to be around. They wanted us to be with them. They wanted us to go with them. They wanted us to show them how to do certain things. I remember also learning how to treat our children differently. Our first daughter was born, Jan, and when she was born into the world, she loved to be held. She loved to be read to. She loved to be cuddled. Well, I thought, well, when my second daughter is born, she's going to want the very same thing. So when our second daughter was born, I'm going to hold you on my lap. Well, she didn't like to stay very long. She'd sit for a little while and go. Well, I learned from that the children are different, and we have to give each child what they need.
They are different, each one. Raised in the same family, but can be completely different. You know, there's another scripture from the book of Malachi. We referred to one earlier, but it makes a wonderful point about fatherhood. It's Malachi chapter 4 and verse 6. And it says, He, speaking of God, will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. We obviously see here God's concern for preserving families. And it's interesting that it says here first that it will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children. How can the hearts of fathers be turned to their children, Gary?
Well, the only way you can turn your heart to your children is to be concerned about them, is to care for them. And caring for them means spending time with them. As you are around them and as you're with them, and I don't mean just being in the same vicinity, but I mean actually spending time with them, doing things with them. A child who can feel comfortable to come to their father when they have a little broken toy will also feel comfortable to come to their father when they have a much more serious crisis in the future. So it takes time and it takes example, parent, father being there with his children.
If you're not there for the small things, then they're not going to come to you for the big things.
You're right.
Really count. Yeah.
I think the scripture also shows us the importance of initiating the bonding with the child, that God does not expect the child to have to bond with his parent, but that the parents have to take the initiative, that they have to turn the hearts of their children toward them first before the children can do it with their parents, and establish that long-term relationship and not take it for granted. This is not like planting a seed and just watering it and watching it, but that it is an active role. That's why parents now are more involved, and that's a very healthy trend. but they're having a co-parenting where both are involved in the child rearing and getting much more involved than maybe previous generations. So not everything is negative. Some things are being done better by this present generation of parents.
Well, and when it is done better, it really does work, and obviously to the benefit of the children involved. You know, there's another segment that we really haven't yet talked about, and that is single parents, especially single mothers who by circumstances beyond their control are raising children, sometimes boys, by themselves without the benefit of a male figure there. I've always been a fan of the Western writer Louis L'Amour. I read dozens of his novels. A few years ago, I picked up a compilation of quotes that his daughter had put together from all of his novels, and she made a point in the introduction to this book I'd like to read here, that she said when she first began to read her father's books, she read for enjoyment. She later understood what some of his fan mail had meant, though. Women who were raising children without husbands had written to him that they were raising their children on the teachings of his books. They told their sons that if they grew up to have the morals and values of his characters, they would be good men, men to be proud of, men to shape the world. I found that fascinating, that single mothers would use his writings with positive male figures to shape their sons without a father in the home. Gary, what are some other tips that we might give to a single mother raising sons or daughters all by themselves?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that for single mothers out there, that we commend you for the job you're doing. Many times it's not their fault.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
And they have a difficult road ahead of them. Many of them take on greater responsibilities. Many of them try to wear two hats, both the father and the mother's hat, do things with their children. But one thing I would say is very important for them is to not be afraid to ask for help and seek help. Seeking help from trusted friends, male friends, from grandfathers, from uncles, from brothers, who can be examples to their children from the male perspective, so that their children can grow up with a little more balance in life. And also never to feel like they have to go it alone, to seek some help.
Yeah. Mario?
Yeah, that's very true, that single mothers should not lose hope. They can rear wonderful children.
They can.
But they have to realize they're going to need help. Don't try to do it all by yourself. Don't try to be a father and mother to them. Be a good mother to them. But find these father figures that are respectable men, whether it's the coach, whether it's in the clergy, whether it's a grandfather or uncle. But find someone that child can learn about the good masculine values.
We hope that they can find that example in that person that they can turn to. This is a big subject. I see right now we're going to have to come back to it and revisit this. We'll have a final message in just a minute. Stay tuned for this.
Happy children and successful marriages really exist for people who know how to build families through the practices you can discover. Know the secrets of what to do at each season of your child's development and the quality and quantity of time it takes to have a marriage blessed for a lifetime. Call 1-888-886-8632 or go to beyondtoday.tv for your free copy of Marriage and Family, The Missing Dimension.
God places great emphasis on the role of the father within the family. Along with a devoted mother, the two form an anchor in the family, the blueprint for God's plan of salvation. The father is the leader in the family. His role, when properly executed, is essential to developing an emotionally complete child. It is a tragedy that society has come to the point of asking where all the fathers have gone, with so many leaving or abandoning their proper roles. If you're a father, or will be at some point, you don't have to follow the trend. Instead, by following God's laws and true values, you can be the kind of father He wants you to be, and your children will be blessed. Gary, Mario, thanks for being with us today. When you're looking to understand your future, remember this program. That's Beyond Today. Thanks for watching.
For the free literature offered on today's program, go online to beyondtoday.tv. Please join us again next week on Beyond Today.